And maybe as you sit there now, noticing the way your body rests, you can remember what it feels like to say, I used to exercise. I used to have goals. I used to have drive. That phrase, I used to, it's already a trance, a hypnotic spell you cast over yourself. And isn't it funny the way you've convinced yourself that because applause didn't arrive when you wanted it, the whole damn show wasn't worth performing? So let me tell you a story. There was once a blacksmith who forged blades sharper than any man had ever held. Day after day, fire, hammer, sweat. People admired at first, but then, as they always do, they got bored. They stopped clapping. The blacksmith thought, what's the point if nobody noticed? So he stopped hammering. The forge cooled. The steel rusted. Years later, war came to his village, and he reached for a sword, only to find useless metal, brittle, broken. He died with a dull blade in his hand, and the applause he once craved never mattered. And your body is that forge, neglected, cooling, waiting for you to strike again, not for them, but for you. Because you don't sharpen steel for applause. You sharpen steel because dull blades cost blood. And I wonder if you can already feel the truth of that, not just in metaphor, but in your joints, your breath, your heavy skin. Because when you say, what's the point? The point is exactly this. Life without sharpness fucking hurts. Now here's another story. A farmer planted wheat season after season. His fields grew tall, golden. But he noticed no one clapped. No one said thank you. So he stopped sowing. The land turned barren. Weeds choked the soil. And when famine came, he starved. The villagers, they didn't pity him. They were too busy eating their own bread. The farmer learned too late. You don't plant wheat for applause. You plant wheat so you don't starve. You don't train your body to be admired. You train so you don't rot. And if I said that as a command, would it land differently? You don't train for applause. You train so you don't rot. You don't lift for likes. You lift because gravity doesn't give a fuck about your excuses. And maybe your unconscious mind can already imagine two paths, 10 years forward. One path, you keep sitting, sinking, waiting, knees aching when you climb stairs, breath wheezing at the mailbox, shame in the mirror. Doctor's phone call, we found something. You become a man trapped inside himself. Body as prison, mind as jailer. The other path, you start small, ugly, inconsistent, but moving. A push-up here, a walk there. Little by little, motion returns. A year, 5 years, 10. And while other men fade, you remain. There are a bastard with fire still in his eyes, bending, lifting, fucking living like you cheated time. Entropy or vitality, rust or steel, starvation or wheat. That's the fork, and your unconscious already knows which fork leads to life. Let's talk science, because this isn't just poetic bullshit. Your mitochondria, the batteries in your cells, they're begging for motion. Stop moving, they shut down. Insulin spikes. Fat locks in. Mood collapses. Move, they spark like tiny engines. Dopamine wakes up. BDNF fertilizes your brain cells. Cortisol calms the fuck down. Motivation isn't the starting fuel. It's the smoke from the engine. You move, and the drive shows up late to the party. So waiting for motivation, it's like waiting for the oven to preheat before you turn it on. It's absurd. You act, the motivation arrives. That's how the loop really works. And maybe you can remember when you brushed your teeth this morning. Did you need applause? Did you need enthusiasm? No. You did it because the consequences of not doing it is disgusting. Exercise is brushing your whole body. And every skipped day is plaque on your arteries, rot in your bones, mould in your lungs. And isn't it strange how shame has become your proof that you're broken? But shame isn't proof. Shame is alarm. It's the smoke detector of your soul. Shame doesn't say you're worthless. It says, move your ass before the fire spreads. And here's the trick. Tiredness is a liar too. You think you're tired from life. No, you're tired from stagnation. Ponds stink. Rivers cleanse themselves. Your body is a river, not a pond. Fatigue. It's not lack of rest. It's lack of flow. And that flow, that second wind you keep longing for, doesn't come from those who sit and wait. The second wind comes only when lungs burn, legs ache, sweat drips, and then suddenly breath opens, stride lengthens, fire returns. But only to those already moving. The wind never blows for idle sails. And right now, you're hypnotized by excuses. Every excuse is like fast food. Sweet for a second, poison in the blood. You've gorged on excuses so long, you feel bloated with them. Time to starve excuses. Time to feed action. And isn't it funny how you already know how to do this? You already pay bills without applause. You already show up at work without motivation. You already carry groceries, walk hallways, climb stairs. You already move. You already live by consistency in tiny ways. And the unconscious part of you already understands. Exercise is just the same pattern, applied bigger. And maybe as you imagine that now, you can notice your future self is watching you. 10 years forward from both forks. One self sick, broken, whispering, why didn't you move? The other strong, sovereign, smiling, saying, thank you for not quitting on me. Which one do you want whispering in your ear at the end of the road? Now let's play a little game of confusion, because confusion opens doors. You thought exercise was about approval, but what if approval was never about exercise? What if love, respect, admiration were never waiting at the gym at all? What if they were shadows you chased, mirages in the desert, and the real water, the real oasis was self-respect? The only currency that never devalues. The only applause that echoes in the dark when no one else is around. And when you move, you build that currency. Every push-up is a coin. Every drop of sweat, a deposit. Every rep, it pays dividends of sovereignty. And sovereignty, real sovereignty, is the sexiest, most magnetic, most unshakable thing you can own. And you can chunk down into the details, one push-up, one squat, one walk. Or chunk up into the bigger picture, decades of strength, freedom, vitality. And chunk sideways, how lifting your body lifts your mood. How lifting your mood lifts your relationships. How lifting relationships lifts your life. All fractals of the same pattern. Motion creates life. Stagnation creates death. And I don't care if you're afraid of what people think when you try again. Because here's the secret. They're not thinking of you. They're too busy drowning in their own shit. And if they do laugh, good, let them. Their laugh will rot in their bellies, while your movement builds fire in your veins. And maybe, just maybe, you can let that land as a command. Move first, motivate later, sweat now, thank yourself later. Stop saying, I used to. Say I am. Stop saying I want to. Say I do. Because here's the Father's truth. The old you is dead. Good. He wasn't enough. That's why he died. Stop longing for his ghost. Forge the new you, scared, pissed off, wiser, stronger, sovereign. And the karma of not doing this, decay, regret, helplessness. The karma of doing it, life, presence, freedom. And your unconscious already knows which karma you'd rather pay. So as I close the loop, as the stories weave back together, the blacksmith, the farmer, the rusting axe, the tired river, you can realize they were never about them. They're always about you and your forge, your soil, your blade, your flow. And maybe now, as you breathe, you can notice something has already shifted. The old trance cracked, the new belief seeded, the new identity forming. And when you stand up after this, you feel it in your bones, the truth, the sharpness, the sovereignty. Because it was never pointless. It was the only point.